We've got Miss Beverly returning. Oh, look at how fancy Tawana looks tonight. I feel underdressed.
Hello, everyone. Oh. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. Hey, Laverne. Oh, Miss Anita, you are too kind, my love. I have a confession to make. I got dressed up for y'all because I had PJs on all day long. PJs in a bonnet, mind you, all day long.
Oh my goodness.
There is my truth.
Well, you know what? The truth shall set you free. It shall set you free. So let's see here.
Excited for tonight's announcement.
Yes. So it is 6 o'clock. I'm going to toss it over to Tawana to just introduce the 10K project. And that way, when Miss Beverly comes on, we can jump right in. And I'm still trying to get some stuff organized, Tawana. So
perfect. Go ahead. My name is Tawana Rivers, the Chief Operating Officer for 10K Project. This is Cherie Warwick, our CEO. And we are super excited to welcome all of you this evening. To anyone who's new, doesn't know who we are and what we do, we are the largest community of investors. Not only do we invest, but we invest Black. We do that by supporting entrepreneurs who have equity crowdfunding campaigns, and we are their rich aunties and uncles that help them get their seed rounds funded and get the capital that they need to be able to scale and grow their businesses. In addition to that, we have an abundance of financial literacy educational material for our community members, because we believe that building wealth is the only way we're going to change the trajectory of the lives of ourselves and our families. And so we're so glad to have all of you with us, anyone who's new. For those of you who have been rocking with us since the beginning, thank you so much. You know, as I log on every week and we see the familiar names, it just really warms my heart to see how many of you have been with us from day one. And so, you know, that lets me know that we're doing something right. And I hope you believe that you're in the right place. This evening, we have welcomed back Miss Beverly, who many of you got to see a few weeks ago, and she blew all of us away, me included, right? I think at one point I almost fell out of my chair. So we brought Miss Beverly back. We have a wonderful announcement that Cherie and I are so excited to share with you guys, because we heard you after Miss Beverly's session. And not only did we hear you, we activated. You guys know that that's my new word for the season. Is it's not just about absorbing all of this amazing information. We have to do something with it. And so we have activated what all of you responded to, and we have wonderful news this evening. And so thank you all for joining us again. For anyone who is not yet a member, please go to the10kproject.com and join us. If you've been watching a couple of times and you know, kind of like, okay, these ladies kind of know what they're doing here. You know, we'd love for you to join our community officially. And so the10kproject.com is where you can do that. Cherie, are you ready to jump in, my dear?
I am, yes. So hello, everybody. Let's just jump right in. We are live officially on YouTube, on our Facebook channels, and on Twitter. And of course, we are here live in Zoom. So it's been about a month now, I think. We had this wonderful woman come to talk with us about getting grants. And we received such an overwhelming response that we decided to do some work on the back end in order to to pull together a masterclass ultimately in getting grants. And one of the first things that Miss Beverly is very excited about and passionate about is housing and affordable housing. So with that, I'm going to dive right in. And Miss Beverly, welcome back to the
Hello,
10K
hello.
Project.
Hello, ladies. How y'all doing?
Doing
Wonderful.
well, doing well. So why don't you tell everybody your story again? Because you have such a great story. Some people are new here today as well. They may not have heard your first session here. So tell everybody what your story is and how you got into writing grants.
Well, I started, my mother basically told me if I wanted money, I had to go get a job. So I was about 14 years old, and I went to a low-income housing property, met this wonderful lady named Marsha LeBrie, and she basically took a chance on me. She found out I was very good with customer service, and I was very good with the residents coming in because Marsha was working all by herself. And so she just kind of took me under her wing and trained me. And this is when they didn't have any computers. Everything was being done by hand. That if you wanted it done, that is the way it had to be done. And I learned the intricate facets of HUD, private Section 8 housing. And one of the first things she trained me on was how they pull the funding. And I learned about applicant processing, recertifications, evictions, because their evictions are completely different than what you see on a day-to-day basis. And I learned the difference between county Section 8 housing. There was city Section 8 housing. There was a certificate. A Section 8 certificate is different than a Section 8 voucher. And, you had to know the difference between those, because we could transfer those documents from state to state, giving people housing. So I learned that, and, went to work for the state of Florida for 15 years with the Bureau of Apprenticeship, Department of Labor, Employment and Training. And what I did was I designed and created apprenticeship programs. So if you came up with an ideal, my job was to take your ideal, throw it up in the air, let it hit the ground, and figure out how we were going to fund your apprenticeship program with state and federal dollars. And at that time, I worked for Mr. William Livingood, and some of the programs we worked with was the city and Orange County and the firefighters. And one of the biggest contracts we had was NASA, Lockheed Martin, Marietta, and they were getting $5,000 per student per month. Then I went on over back to HUD again, spent 33 years over there with them on the private owner Section 8 side again. I just had a niche for it because I understood their paperwork. And I worked for Bradley Construction, Bradley Properties, based out of St. Petersburg and Clearwater. And I was in the game. I've been in the game now for 48 years.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
So, talk to us a little bit about government grants overall.
Okay.
How much money is out there? How do people access it? Things like that. What are some of the things that we should know?
Okay, so like with government grants, I mean, it can be a challenging process because you're going from your system to their system. So you definitely have to have the incorporation with your state Department of State. You have to have your EIN number, your DUNS number. You must have a business bank account set up. I'm sorry about that, ladies. I'm gonna turn this off. You must be registered in the SAM system, which is the System Award Management System. And then SAM takes that information, they transfer it over to grants.gov. Now, those two systems mirror each other and they talk to one another. And so grants.gov is the federal system where all the grants are posted. You have the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for Humanities. You have the NIH grants, the Health and Human Services grants. And basically what all these agencies do, just think of it like one big chocolate chip cookie. They take all of these grants and they put them in one place. And all of these agencies govern this money. This is money you pay taxes on. So each agency is in charge of its money and how it's dispersed. And now they have a new language. It's not called an agency anymore. It's called the offering agency. They're offering the grant to you. They're telling you, we have money over here for profits as well as nonprofits. So you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to go, because some of the grants can be overwhelming. Some, like NASA has, they probably got something new going again. And but some of the grants can be very streamlined, very direct to the point. They're going to tell you, if you sit down and read the grants, what they're requiring to get their funding.
So I just showed the grants.gov webpage, and basically what I scrolled through was like all of the agencies that have the grants, as you were talking. So people can get grants for all sorts of reasons from the government. Could you give people some ideas of like the different types of businesses that are funded, or the different types of projects that are funded through the grant, through the government?
Okay. Let's say Ms. Tawana wanted to do an IT grant. That grant would actually fall under the Department of Energy, because energy and IT work hand in hand with each other. Housing grants, or instead, let me back up. Instead of IT, she could type in the search bar. She can look up IT grants, or she can put in the search bar technical grants, because it's not just technical anymore. The technical piece goes with the business piece now. They used to separate them. Now they don't separate them anymore. So when they fund these grants, that's why you see such large amounts for the ceiling and the floor. They're telling you the ceiling is, we will award up to here, but this is the lowest you can get here. Okay. So you'll see technical grants and business grants in conjunction with each other. There are for-profit grants. There are nonprofit grants. There are health and human services grants. There are diplomacy grants, which I am into. There are social services grants. Like if you're really into helping people in your community, ton of social services grant just got put up. There is a plethora of HUD grants, Department of Agriculture grants, on so many levels at the state and federal levels. We can't keep up with them. There are grants for gardening, and it's just endless what agriculture is putting up right now. I mean, we are just like floored. There are water treatment grants now coming to fruition, because we pulled one for $18 million. Okay, because look at what's happening in Detroit. Look at what's happening in Mississippi. They want people to have what? Clean drinking water. So they put up water grants. Anything with water and water treatment, those grants are now posted. And so when outside agencies or outside entities can't disperse that money, they are in partnership with the grants. They say, okay, grants.gov says, send it over here to me, and we will try to get someone to work on this grant and get this money dispersed.
Now let's talk about the water issue, because especially in Mississippi, one of the things that we're hearing on the news is that the government dispersed the money to the governor and the state. Let's say the state. I won't say the governor. But the state is holding on to it and not sending the money to the city. So from a practical point of view, like how does that work if the state is not relinquishing those funds?
Okay, so the money came from the federal to the state, to the county, to the city. It's a 4-tier process. So you have municipalities that have contracts with Tawana Rivers to have water treatment plants to separate the bad water from the good water. And those water treatment plants are called what? Utilities. Okay. So her utility services that she's providing, she has to be paid. If she's not paid, she can just hit a button, shut everything off. Okay. The state should not be holding on to that money because that money has a deadline date on it. And if that money doesn't get dispersed to Tawana Rivers, then when January 1 of 2023 rolls in, they don't get funded. Because that money has to be systematically allocated to Tawana Rivers utilities every single month. You can't go quarterly on a utility bill. It's just like paying a regular light bill. But even though she's on a bigger scale. See, we pay a light bill and water bill is a small scale. Mm-hmm. But when you're providing clean water and utilities to the masses, she is providing you governmental utility services. So she has to be paid because you know why? Because the state enter into a contract with Tawana Rivers Utilities and they are contractually bound.
Okay. Because we have been hearing, like I said, some of the politics around that. So I wanted to, before I move forward, because I do want to show some things about affordable housing, which is your true passion, Ms. Beverly, but I do want to give Tawana a chance if there are any questions that you've seen that you think.
There are none showing yet. I think we're all without pen and paper, just intently listening.
Yes. Okay. So Miss Beverly is very, very passionate about affordable housing. And the last time that she was here, we had a big discussion about affordable housing. I wanted to show a couple of articles here before we let Miss Beverly talk about some of the conversations she's been having with lawmakers and some of the things that are changing within HUD and updating. So this is Pew Research Center here. This is January 18th, 2022. A growing share of Americans say that affordable housing is a major problem where they will live. And there's all sorts of information in here about the fact that 49% of Americans say that the availability of affordable housing in their local community is a major problem, up from 10 percentage points from early 2018. So just in, 4 years? Mm-hmm. This has gone up 10 percentage points. Yep. I also wanted to show you some of the information in here within this graphic here. So the total people, men, women, all races, is 49%, and then another 36% saying it's a minor problem. If you go to Black people, for example, 57% of us say it's a major problem. Even Hispanic people are pretty concerned about it as well. Mm-hmm. Here, ages 18 to 49, younger people are concerned about affordable housing even more so than our elderly. And I was talking with someone earlier today, we both agreed that some of that is because they have pensions and some of them may own their homes outright, things like that. Urban, 63% of people who live in urban areas are concerned about housing. Excuse me, everybody. 69% of people who live in the West, 49% of people who live in the Northeast. These are recent numbers. This is January 2022. Lower income, 57% of people, even middle income people, say that 47% believe that there's a problem. And then they have, if you're Republican or Democrat down here. I also wanted to show you this as well. This is from the National Low Income Housing Coalition. Mm-hmm. The first thing they say here is no state has adequate supply of affordable rental housing for the lowest income renters. That means it is a nationwide problem, every single state. If you're looking here, the ones that are in red, these are the states that have the most issues. So Florida, Texas, California, Nevada. You
Mhm.
know, next is places like Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, Georgia. I know a lot of you live in these states, but even if you live in some of the states that have the least amount of issues in the Southeast, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, I personally think the average income of people in those states are lower. So that's the reason why they have more housing for lower income. But there is still housing that is needed across the United States. The reason I wanted to show you those things is because the next set of things we're going to talk about is all about affordable housing and some of the things that HUD is doing. Yes, I see people have their pens and paper ready. So yes, please do. Miss Beverly, I'm just
And I
going to
think
let you
before Ms.
talk.
Beverly comments on that, I think it's interesting is that we just talked about the availability, but what we haven't talked about is the condition of what is available, right? So
Yeah.
that's another conversation, right?
Yeah.
People are forced to take what's kind of out there. What type of place are they being offered? What are the conditions of it? Is it, safe from a safety standpoint, from a ADA compliance standpoint, right? From a hygienic standpoint, all of those things. Where are we forced to live as a result of this shortage?
Right. And I'll just one more thing to increase that. McKinsey had a report in 2019 that said 4.5 million Black people are set to lose their jobs due to automation. Robotics, automation, I've been doing a lot of research on it because I'm going to do a session on it. The unemployment that's going to come in the next decade due to these things, because a lot of people are not being reskilled appropriately, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. So with that, Beverly, what should we know?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I think there should be a plethora of community engagement, because when you get people talking about it, you get people working together. So community engagement, this is not about who's a Democrat, Republican, because what affects one affects everybody. You need that community engagement. And what I highly stress, because we're doing it up here where I live at, we have monthly meetings on this. We let our politicians know we're not going away, because there is no infrastructure, where I live at. So now what we see is first, second, and third generation, 3 generations banding together in one house. One house. They're putting up bunk beds, military style, just to make sure everybody has somewhere to sleep, to just make ends meet from month to month. So the first piece is community engagement. The second piece that I'm going to stress is having a family conversation, because this is not something where you can go and hide your head in the sand. Can't do that. The family also has to come together, because now families are being required to do what? Take care of the elderly.
Absolutely.
They're being required, because you know why they're being required? Because now the nursing homes in the state of Florida have a union, and it's getting ready to spread. And if the nursing homes can't get what they want, they're walking out. And so our governor had to tell us, I had to go get my brother out of the nursing home. Come pick up your loved one. They can't stay.
Wow.
So that becomes another burden. So we have community, we have family engagement, we have community engagement, and then your family. Your third component, which is paramount, you're going to have to talk about money and budgets and not being wasteful. Because when you've got 10 people in a concentrated area living together, tempers will flare. People will want to do things a little crazy and out of the ordinary. But a budget strategy is how we're all going to survive. Okay? Now, with your city and county governments, they have houses that the city is taking control of, or the county, that have been abandoned. Now, they won't tell you this because they keep it for their little clique, but it is a matter of public record. Okay, you can get money through the city and the county, to rehabilitate that house or those apartments. Because remember now, if a property is sitting abandoned, guess what? Cherie Warwick, who's over the county and the city and the county taxes, she ain't getting no property taxes. She's like, where my money? Where my money? And so the more properties you see abandoned, that is less property taxes on the roll. So that community engagement piece is paramount, because that way you have eyes on everything. Okay. So, know what's available right where you live. You may think somebody, I thought somebody was living in a house down the street. Ain't nobody living in it. I went back, I turned around, went back and got the address because I want to know what I can get. And the city and the county they have money for that property. They will give you free windows. They will give you solar panels. They will give you solar heaters. They will give you, they will literally come in and rebuild a whole house for you on the city and the county dime.
Wow. So it's interesting. Brian says group economics begins at home. And I love that you use that term, Brian, because so often we view what Miss Beverly just talked about as a burden, when really it's a wealth building opportunity. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, you got the whole family together. We're saving, we're collectively contributing, which means that we can go and collectively then buy a piece of property, right? That we then either all live in, and maybe we rinse and repeat that thing 10 times, and eventually all 10 occupants of the house have their own house. That may take 10 years to get there, but you got to live somewhere for 10 years anyway. So, I mean, we have to start. It's really that, we talk about this with every conversation, the mindset shift. Mm-hmm. That's really what we have to start with here in this conversation, because we talk about it like a burden, but really it is not. It's
really an opportunity. Right. To really, and I love he say group economics. It's really an opportunity to build wealth like you wouldn't believe. Because if you got 10 people in the house and everybody watching and see, that's 20, 30 eyes on some, including the dog and the cat. Okay. Okay. You're going to know what's going on in your neighborhood.
Right.
Okay. And this is where you get with your elected officials. So as you move each person out, there is that generational wealth within the family. And it's not, whoever's getting Social Security, help them manage their money, because you may not think, Social Security and SSI increases every year, but you may not think $800 or $1,000 isn't nothing, but it's a lot when you ain't got it.
Right.
And that money adds up over time. So that $8,000 to $12,000 a year becomes your investment piece to invest in a property you just saw vacant. And sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, the city and the county just want pennies on the dollars just to get it off the tax rolls. They just want pennies on the dollars. Like, okay, you give me $5,000, you can have it. Yeah. And you may not have nothing built on it, but now what you got? Got a piece of land. That was, taxes were probably, I saw a property where the lady owed $4,000 in taxes. And the county told me, you take it off my hand, give me $1,500.
And it's a shame that she couldn't save her property just for $4,000 too.
Mm-hmm. But you know what we did? I formed my own CDC, Community Development Corporation, and we helped her get placed in a place she could afford.
Okay.
Because we didn't want to see her homeless on the street, because she was in her 70s.
Oh,
so
wow.
I said, well, before we do this, let's get you somewhere to live. I notified her children. I say, y'all, and believe it or not, her children are doctors and lawyers. Okay. Get down here and see about your mama. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I say, now, do you want to go live with your kids, or do you want this 2-bedroom, nice 2-bed? And it's a 55 and up community. Mm-hmm. Guess what she's paying in rent? $68 a month.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
55 up in community, guys, and that's another piece, but it's HUD funded.
Really?
So how does that work? Like, yeah, like okay.
Y'all didn't know that?
I did not know they were HUD funded. I thought they were privately owned.
You can own it
Very
privately,
interesting.
but HUD would come in because keep in mind, this is what? Senior housing.
Mm-hmm.
Senior housing is tax credited because once you hit 55 and you pass 62 and hit 65, between 55 and 65, the property owner, Tawana Rivers, gets a federal tax credit for everybody on her property between the ages of 55 and 65. And the rent is calculated based on 30% of the yearly income. Y'all about to make me hit mic drop. I'm getting all
Getting dangerously close to mic drop.
So, okay, so I don't want to say anybody do this, but let's say a newbie real estate developer
like
do
you,
this.
like you.
Like me, like, I mean, I own my property, but I've never done like any kind of real estate development before. Or Tawana wants her 10 doors,
I want my 10 doors. We'll put that out into the universe.
We're gonna get you there.
Yeah, like, first of all, can we do it? And if so, what, like, let's say we want to do senior, or we talked before about veteran housing being another one. What are some of the things that we would need to have in place in order to do
Well,
this?
we've covered all the banking stuff, so that's pretty established right there. And what we want to do is a business proposal of the services we will be providing to the senior citizens and our veteran people that have served this country. Once you break down the services, then we're going to be looking at demographics. Who are the veteran demographics that Cherie is going to serve? Will they be veteran single people? Would it be veteran families? Would it be veterans that have disabilities, like some of our young men and women come home with no limbs? They want to know demographically, who is Cherie serving? Once we hone in on that mathematical piece and we crunch those numbers, we can pretty much determine, I can calculate in my head, okay, I can go up here and get about $60 million. And that, and then when you pick out your land, you don't go purchase it. You say, this is the proposed site, because you don't want to purchase land until they do that EPA study. We want to make sure we're not building on contaminated land.
Now, do you lock in anything like, any kind of, okay, go ahead.
We lock in the money. We got to have some nice round zeros behind those first couple of numbers, because we never want to fall short of not having enough funding.
Yes.
Because anything can happen, especially with the chain supply. We lock in, we have a memorandum of understanding on the proposed site. And they should be giving you anywhere from 30 to 90 days. Because if that site can pass that EPA study, then they're going to give you the money to say, okay, go purchase it. And that money to purchase that land needs to be separated from the original money you have coming in. See, that land money needs to stand off by itself, because we don't know what we're dealing with. But the original amount you asked for needs to be where? It needs to be right in front of you, because I need to ask for enough money to fund Cherie for the next 5 years.
So I want to say to Janice, I was
just getting ready to type something to her.
Okay, no, because I feel like a lot of people are thinking like this. I know that your head is hurting. I want to say, don't worry about it.
Hold on.
Breathe. Hold on.
I can go back.
We're going to actually, no.
No, I think we're okay. We got something for Janice at the end of this. Hold on.
We're going to have a 6-session masterclass where we're going to break all of this down piece by piece little by little. We're going to have checklists for you. There's going to be group mentoring, all of that. So yes, this is being recorded. Yes, you can listen to this again, but this is the tip of the iceberg. Miss Beverly is going to basically train us like she trains her grant apprentice writers. Okay. So don't, because I know a lot of people are kind of nervous now. Don't worry about it because it's a lot. It's a lot of websites to know about. It's certifications, even like we're going to have some templates with regards to how to meet with different team members. What do you say to them in order to get them to meet with you? What do you say to them during the meeting? Things like that. So we are going to break it down for all of you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I did want to bring this up because we had somebody who listened to your first session and said to me, Cherie, I tried that before. It's a good old boys network. They don't give money to everyday people like you and I. It only goes to the big boys. You're wasting your time. And you and I had this conversation about this, right? What was your response to me with regards to that?
No, they can't do that. They have to give the money to the community because the money is earmarked. Anytime, like with the CARES Act, I'm going to use that as a sample again. When the CARES Act comes in for millions and millions of dollars, just like money comes into your city and county, you can ask for a copy of that grant because, like in the state of Florida, it falls under the Sunshine Law. The Sunshine Law in the state of Florida means they must make it public to everybody in 67 counties. And when they say they have money earmarked, that means there's specific money guaranteed to specific areas that add up to that $293.84 million they just got. So they can't take the money and just say, oh, I'm just going to go over here and disperse. No, because then I can declare of what we call a Title IV. I can say, okay, I want an audit. And I'll send an email to the oversight committee up in DC, and then we're going to have a little powwow.
Okay.
Got to be short, sweet, to the point. You know why? Because it is your tax dollars that are funding these programs in your community. So this is why when what did the guy say? It was a group
economics.
Group economics. This is why we need to be informed about our group economics. Just like everybody's living in the house together, everybody needs to go down there and find out what the politicians are doing
on together.
Together. Because when they see you coming, they'll be like, oh Lord, we can't do this today. Because even in the city of Orlando, we can't ask for the recording of any meeting because of our Sunshine Law. So know your laws that govern your state. Be informed.
Within the masterclass, session 2 is how to research grants, and we're also going to have discussions on how to research these laws within your state so that you know what your rights can be, should be, etc. So again, what I want to do, if you all don't mind, because I want to do it before, I know certain people have to leave at 7 o'clock, is I just want to go really quickly through what's going to be included in the masterclass, how to sign up. We're going to let Miss Beverly talk, answer more questions, and then I'll do that again. So look, everybody, okay, so this is the masterclass. It is how to get 5 to 7 figure grants for your affordable housing projects. This is the first masterclass that Miss Beverly is doing with us. She said 48 years of experience. I wrote 45, so my apologies for messing that up. This is a masterclass that is going to be basically a 6-step roadmap for you to get grants from the government for specifically affordable housing projects that you want to put together. You can be a newbie real estate developer. It's okay. All right. The dates for this is starting Wednesday, September 28th, and it's going to go through Wednesday, November 2nd. It starts at 7 p.m. The classes will be about an hour and 15 minutes per session. Every class is going to be recorded, and you will be able to access the replays within the Knowledge Center. So that means, yes, you need to be a 10K project member in order to be a part of our community, our masterclass community. What are the 6 sessions? The first is creating a grant strategy. You have to have a strategy before you start knocking on doors, talking to people. Session 2, how to research grants, how to research the laws, know what you should be asking for. Session 3, preparing your company to receive grants. We mentioned sam.gov, for example. There are other things that you need to prepare. We'll have a checklist. We're going to go through it, through the applications, things like that, so you know what you need to have prepared. Session 4, how to apply for the grants. Session 5, building your team. This session is very important, okay? And then session 6 is compliance, which is also hugely important, and becoming a serial grantee. You don't want to just get one grant. You want to get multiple grants. How do you do that? Bonuses. There's more. Yes, we are going to have checklists for you. We're going to have templates for you. Some of the templates that we're putting together, Ms. Beverly and I, are things like email templates for you in order to reach out to certain team members in order to get them on board, agendas, things like that. And you're going to get 1 year of mentoring. It's going to be as part of a group when you join this masterclass. So once a month, Miss Beverly is going to come back, like after the masterclass is over, once a month, she's going to come back. And as you're going through this process, you have the ability to ask her questions. She will respond to you. And that is how the mentoring is going to be done. So in order to sign up, you do need to become a member of the 10K Project. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then step 2 is there's a place within the Knowledge Center where you need to sign up. So what's the payment? This is valued at $3,000. The 10K Project membership, you do need to be an annual member to be a part of this. If you are grandfathered in, you've been a long-time member, you're already a part of this. This is not new. Any new costs for you if you're currently a member, okay? But if you are a new member, then the value of that is $300 for the year. And not only will you get access to this masterclass, you'll get access to a ton of information that we have within the Knowledge Center to help you invest, learn more about different types of investments. Then $300 for the 6-week grant masterclass. That's all 6 sessions, the templates, as well as the year of mentoring as part of our group, which is another $2,400 value. So the total value of this package is $3,000, but we have slashed this price. For new members, it is $500, so it's $200 to become a member of the 10K Project when you use the coupon code Beverly, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then it's $300 for the masterclass, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you're a current member and you want to be a part of this, it's just $300 today. If you're a new member, then I'm going to show you how to sign up for the 10K Project and sign up for the masterclass. So really quickly, let me just show you how to do this. What you want to do, if you are a new member, you want to come to the10kproject.com, come to the page that says become a member, and come down here to where you see gold membership annual, and you want to click sign up. You're going to have various information that you fill out, just your name, your phone number, your email address. You're going to put a username and password in, and you're ultimately going to end up at this Stripe page here that says $300. If you put in the promo code Beverly, it knocks that $100 off, so you end up with a $200 membership. You enter your card information and you hit subscribe. It'll be super simple. Once you are subscribed, you're going to end up here at this page that says Knowledge Center. And you will see this section here that says Grant Masterclass Affordable Housing. So you see that right here. You're going to click Purchase. And it's going to take you to the $300 for the masterclass. Again, enter your credit card information and hit Pay. And that is it. That is it. So there's a couple of steps there, but we also have a document here where we have all of the instructions that I will be sure to put into the chat for everybody as well. So, and someone says my screen is not sharing. My screen wasn't sharing?
Yeah, I saw it.
Put a 2 in the chat if you all saw my screen share all of the screens. Put a 3 in the chat if you didn't see anything.
And just a comment for
okay, people
Janet
saw it.
People, looks like people saw it. A comment for Janet and Sylvia. Send us an email at info@the10K project. Sylvia, I see that you said you signed up last year and didn't get anything back. I just looked in our database and I don't see your name. And Janet, I did the same thing for you. I see a John Kemp, but not a Janet Kemp. So the two of you, info@the10kproject.com, and we'll look into, we'll research if your payment went through and why you didn't get the information. And we apologize for that.
All right, looks like we have a couple of questions in here. Tawana, you want to go through those?
Absolutely. Denise asked the question, should the company be incorporated as a nonprofit or for-profit? Is for-profit okay? And I'm going to add a second part to that. And for those of us who want to attend the mastermind, do we need to already have that LLC created before the course starts?
It would be wise to do so. Now, it depends on, I'm not a big fan of LLCs. I like to go incorporated or CORP because it does give you some tax advantages. However, you can reach out to the IRS and they will give you the best advice on how to set that up, okay? But it is up to you. It doesn't matter whether you have it set up or not, but it is to your advantage because if you're going to go right in and start looking at grants and applying for them, there's certain information the SAM database is going to ask you for. And to the left of the screen, when I start typing this stuff in, it's asking me for account number, routing number, all my information. So you have to be prepared on that one. Doesn't matter if it's for-profit or nonprofit. It depends on what you're going to use the grant or the grant funding for. That's, so you kind of have to think about, and maybe I'm going to ask Cherie, maybe there should be like a little questionnaire or something, 10 steps, like, where do you want to go with this? Because no one can make that determination but you. You have to decide if you want it to be for-profit or nonprofit. Grant Writers of America is a for-profit entity with a nonprofit arm. So I do have incorporated. Then I have Grant Writers of America Foundation Incorporated, and we put in for our 501c3 and we just got approved.
Okay.
Coca-Cola has a nonprofit arm. Coca-Cola Incorporated makes money. Coca-Cola Foundation gives away money. So that's how you kind of have to think about it.
Very good. Tusaida asked, for those of us who donated during the previous session, do we get any discount or special access to Miss Beverly and these classes? Tusaida, no, you don't. The offering tonight is what it is. V. Dimitri says, what's the schedule for the mastermind? So it starts September 28th, which is a Wednesday. It's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for 6 Wednesdays. So from September 28th through November 2nd. And that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looks like Ryan's asking, when does registration close?
Great question. We forgot to mention that. It is going to close on Friday, September 23rd. So you have 2 weeks, Friday, September 23rd. And we're going to be doing a lot of discussion about it for the next 2 weeks.
And Miss Vivian says, do you need a Dun and Bradstreet number?
I recommend it. It's free. I highly recommend it because
I think you need one to get in the SAM.
in the SAM database, because even though they don't say they ask for it, they do.
Is it too late to add that process to be able to walk people through that process? Is that a difficult process to get the DUNS number and to be able to get the SAM's registration? And if
No,
it's
We
an
can
easy
discuss
process.
that. Yeah, we could discuss
It's-
that in
it's-
session 3.
yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty easy.
That can be discussed in session 3. We're going to look through all of the types of registrations you need to do.
Wonderful. Oh, and Latoya says the SAMS does not require a DUNS number any longer as of April of 2022.
Yeah, now they have the UEI, the unique entity identification number. They assign a UEI number to you.
Wonderful. Oh, yep, Virginia just put that in. Perfect. Thank you, Virginia. Very good. Robert says, how often will this class be offered? So Robert, you'll have the ability, if you're not able to attend September 28th through November 2nd live, you will have the ability to purchase this course after the live session is over, directly in our Knowledge Center. So it'll be out there for resale. You don't get the benefit, obviously, of the one-on-one sessions kind of, as we're going through the live class, but you will have access to the once a month when Miss Beverly's coming back to do the mentoring. You'll have access to that group mentoring once a month, where you may be able to reflect and ask certain questions that you may have experienced in the live session. So, so it's not as great as being right there with us live, but you will still have access to her. Very good questions, guys. Any additional questions? Latoya said DUNS is still important to have for establishing business credit for other reasons. So
Yeah.
Latoya is recommending you still get that number. Thank you, Latoya.
So, Ms. Beverly, what is your vision for the masterclass? What would you like to, be able to help us achieve?
Well, I would like to be able to really see people succeed. Everything that we're going to be discussing is very important. Another component, I don't know if you're going to cover it, but it's how to get minority certified. Because minority certifications are so crucial and so very important when you're dealing with government entities and different municipalities. I deal with things not only at the state and the federal level, but I now deal with things, on the international side, Department of Ministries and things of this nature. So having those certifications is crucial, especially if you're looking to do business with your city and county governments. So, I just love that word group economics because, it's very inclusive of everything that you want to do and discuss. And yes, she said the MBE certification. You can get the diversity certification at the state level here in the state of Florida for free. It's a lot of stuff your municipalities offer you for free that you can find out through your representatives that represent you. And they even have minority certification classes through SCORE.
I suggest every business out there get their minority certification. Many of you know I'm a business plan writer, and you'll be surprised what contracts are out there. I used to get $5,000 to write business plans for small construction companies in the state of Virginia because there was a free program for construction companies because they wanted especially more women and minority businesses to bid on DOT, Department of Transportation contracts. So there was literally this program where the Virginia I think it was DOT or some other
Mhm.
agency, would literally give these companies X amount of dollars in like free software and grant money and things like that, but they had to have a business plan. And the
Mhm.
state of Virginia would pay me to write their business plan so that the company could then access additional money for additional services. So what I'm trying to say, but you had to be they call it SWAM in Virginia, small woman and minority owned,
Mhm.
but it's same as MBE, right? You have to be SWAM certified. And I was like one of the only two business plan writers at the time that was SWAM certified. So, again, you'll be surprised what states and the federal government, what kind of contract opportunities that they have. And yeah, people are talking about the local PTAP.
Mhm.
Yes, is a great resource as well. So,
And that's
Tawana,
awesome.
I think it's important to answer Sandra's
Yeah,
question
out loud.
as
I
well.
agree.
Mhm.
So Sandra asked, will grandfathered members be charged just the $300? So let me explain what a grandfathered member is. So the answer is yes, first of all. Any current member, that is if you became a member when we had a fee of $100 for a lifetime, right? That's kind of was our beginning fee. If you are a current member who pays the $30 per month subscription fee, or if you are a member who paid the $300 annual fee. All of you are considered members, paid members. And as a result of that, you do not have to pay for membership again. You only pay $300 for the course. If you are someone who just follows us, maybe you're in our Facebook group, you follow us on YouTube, you come here to these sessions or any free session that we hold, or open to the public session that we hold, you are not a paid member yet. If you are interested in this mastermind, you will have to become a member first, and then you will be able to pay the $300 for this masterclass. To become a member, you have two payment options. You can use the discount code, which I believe is Beverly, right? Discount code Beverly. If you use that discount code, you only have to pay $200 for the annual membership. So that gives you $100 off. If you are not prepared to pay the annual membership in full and you just want to become a monthly subscription member, you can do that as well, but there's no discount with that. So you can do the subscription membership and pay the $30 a month for the year. However, there is no discount for that process. And so we're giving $100 off of the annual membership, which is a great benefit because this masterclass is one of many things. Cherise mentioned the other stuff that we have in the Knowledge Center. What she didn't mention is that there are hundreds of hours of wealth building content in the Knowledge Center. Hundreds of hours. We've been doing this for a long time, y'all. And so there's a lot of wealth building information in the Knowledge Center.
Why don't we talk to people a little bit about what's in the Knowledge Center in case they want to know a little bit more. So everybody who is a current member of the 10K Project and you know what's in the Knowledge Center, put it in the chat. But we have information on how you can invest in different investments like tax liens, hotels, stock options. You can invest in debt. We have different sessions on different businesses you can start, from appliance repair to becoming a mobile notary to oh my goodness, all sorts of businesses you can start. I'm
Yeah.
drawing a blank right now.
I mean,
We have different
everything.
careers you can get into, six-figure careers, everything from technology, and these are free programs or very low-cost programs you can get into to learn about getting into technology. And not all tech jobs are coding, but there's tech jobs, there's tech sales, there's appliance repair we already talked about. There's all sorts of careers you can take. We're going to start, doing that less and focusing a lot more on the investment side for 2023. But we have some big things coming up as well. So as you become a member of the 10K Project, you get grandfathered into all the future items that we talk about. So yes.
Very good. We've got some questions. Go to there. Sharnetta says, is the live mentorship included for current members who are grandfathered in? So yes. So if you pay for the masterclass, right? So for all masterclass participants, we will all get the group mentorship. Ms. Beverly will come once a month. We will all get on a live and we will be able to ask questions, get clarification, all of those kind of things. So for anyone who pays the $300 for the mastermind, you will have access to that mentorship as part of it. And as you saw from Cherie's value slide, essentially that mentorship is given to you free. Michael says, just to clarify, what's the cost for a longtime 10K member? Michael, for a longtime 10K member, the cost is $300. So that's all you would have to pay is $300. Ms. Vivian says, I would like to let people know about this course who are not members of the 10K project as well. What concise information should I give them? Should they just go to the website?
Yes, so we actually have a couple of things that I will be sharing. We're going to have some posts going up, and what I'm able to do is also send it in the email, and that way you're able to forward that to people, and it'll be concise information with regards to a small bio about Miss Beverly. It'll have the 6 master classes, all the bonuses that people can get, and then a link to the instructions for them to sign up. So that'll be an easy way for you to share on your social media, as well as share through your email.
V. Dimitri, Cherie was just showing you that value on that slide that talked about the mentorship at the $2,400. That's just taught me, Miss Beverly, as we see, 48 years of experience, right? We just got a little taste of what that looks like. And so for Miss Beverly to come back and mentor us as a group every month, that is her time. And so we put a very low rate on her time. We know that $200 an hour for what we're getting is not even close to her value, but we valued it at that just to show you that you're getting a $2,400 value essentially free. Because the class, for members, we're only charging the $300. So that's what that $2,000 was referencing. So V. Dimitri, you are a member. And so for you, it would only be $300 for the mastermind, 6 weeks, starting September 28th through November 2nd, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a Wednesday. So it'll be every Wednesday. It is recorded for anyone who is not available on a Wednesday. And for anyone who is not available during that time frame, and maybe you want to get it, start, you don't want to start it on September, you want to start it mid-October, you will be able to do so by going to the Knowledge Center, becoming a member if you're not already a member, but going to the Knowledge Center and purchasing it. You won't see them live and have interaction like those of us who are starting on the 28th, but you will still get access to this information.
And may I just make a quick statement here, ladies?
Absolutely, dear.
This is such a wonderful class, and I love the way it's strategically structured, by the way, because I'm a very structured person. Yes, my desk is a little bit of a mess, and I'll have my screen next week, by the way. Okay. Amazon's late. But I wanted to let everyone know I am very much looking forward to this, because after the masterclass, we head right into the holiday season, and everybody's going to be traveling and going in 10 different directions. But I did want to let you ladies know, because of your video, the first video we did together, I have been invited by the government of Dubai to teach.
Phenomenal.
Not surprised at all.
No.
Not even remotely shocked.
I was just like, you sure you got the right Beverly?
Yes, they do.
You said yes, it found you through the 10K.
They were like, we watched the 10K, and there was a bunch of sheiks, I was dealing, with all of them at the same time. And I was just like, wow, you want me to come and teach, or are we going to Zoom this? And they said, it's up to you. You can come and teach. So I am doing a
You've got to
lot.
go. It's beautiful. You've got to
It's
go.
beautiful over there. And I am getting a lot of invitations internationally because I have been working for 2 years on international ministry work. So those departments of ministries are now beginning to come forward and give me permission. You must have permission to teach in their countries. You just can't go over there and do it. There's a lot of steps to what they do. So I'm very honored, and I've also been invited to Mexico as well.
Nice. Very, very
Phenomenal. I do want to make
congratulations.
another comment for people as well. And I did this when we talked about the business buying, but it's the same here. Some of you um, may have it in your heart and your skill set that you want to be a grant writer, a grant researcher. This is an excellent class for you to take as well, because you're going to learn how Miss Beverly actually strategically thinks and how she approaches her clientele when she is thinking about putting together these grants as well. So, you know, if you think that you want to be a grant writer and learn how to research these grants and actually hang up your shingle. We're always talking about side hustles, or it could be your main hustle or things like that. I would encourage you to think about joining the class as well and learning from that point of view and being able to hang up your shingle, because Miss Beverly can't write every grant. She needs a group of people that she can actually refer business to who are properly trained.
And
So
that's a beautiful thing, because I referred someone to another colleague of mine. She does the business grant, the business writing like you do. And, she sent me a referral fee. And I was like, well, you didn't have to do that because we've known each other for 5 or 6 years. And she was just like, I've gotten so much business off you, because she is really good at business, that whole business planning like Cherie is. I mean, she's good at it. And I was just like, you can go to Cherie or you can go to Tamara. Those are the only two people I know that can really do what you're asking for, because it's so important to have a 5-year business plan. And she said, Miss Beverly, I'm actually booked to the end of December.
Nice.
Can't
That's a
take on
good problem to have.
yeah,
That is
I have a
big
lot of
problem.
clients. I have people who contact me, and I'm not like a grant person, but people know that I write. So I get calls all the time. I don't have people to send for grants. I had a woman who called me last week. Her nonprofit, or she's representing a nonprofit that's been around for 12 years. They've been trying to get grants themselves. They haven't been successful. And she's like, it's because we don't have a professional grant writer. So, like you would think there are a lot of good grant writers that are out there. People can't find them. So we get calls all the time. So again, if this is something you think you want to do either as a side business, a freelancer, full-time business, consider joining the class and learning this from the inside out. I'm going to be taking a lot of notes too, because there's a lot in the research side. That class, I'm going to be as much of a student as all of you.
It's a lot to learn. And, I will tell anyone, there is no stupid question. You must ask questions, because this is how we all learn. And I'm so very proud I want to learn from you, Mr. Tawana, a lot more about investing. I want to, become part of the 10K and learn more about investing, because I'm a numbers person, because I've been crunching numbers all my life. And I want to really hone those skills on investing, because I've mastered the grant side for 48 years. I mean, there's nothing they can throw at me that I don't know. And if I don't know, I got a group of people that can tell me, that I can fall back to. And that is the beautiful thing about that, but you two are experts on that investment side. Some things I'm looking to. And see, Cherie asked me a question this week. She wants to learn more about how to form a CDC. Most people don't know how to form a CDC. Do you know I actually taught someone how to set up their own bank? I know how to set up the Federal Reserve Bank. I know how to
Wow.
set up a CDC because it was a requirement in my previous jobs. You know, setting up your own bank ain't as hard as you think it is.
Hmm.
You know,
Actually, that's true. I know some people who set up a credit union, and no, it's not that
it's
difficult.
not. I've gone to credit union meetings, Mr. Juan, and I hope you come to Florida. And when I actually sat in on a community credit union meeting, I learned that credit union came about by people in the community formed it over 55 years ago.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it has grown to over 50 locations.
Wow.
It's,
Latoya said that's her ultimate goal is to set up her own bank. All right, Latoya, you're in the right place, girl.
so it's so much that I really want to learn from 10K, and I want to pay my membership fee. That's what I want to pay because I really want to learn that investment side of things and get more
Girl, you know
involved.
we're not making you pay. Why are you playing?
No, we're gonna be taking notes so we can get some grant money ourselves. We
I'm
have a
gonna go ahead and
huge
add you in the
mission.
database right now. Why
Well,
we playing?
put me in there.
Yes,
But I'm just saying,
yes.
you learn so much on one side. It's so refreshing to learn something else, because if you don't know, we were never taught about money. So if you're never taught about money, you don't know how to handle money. Putting $50 a month aside would get you over $600 a year. Now, if you do that for 30 years, look at how much you're sitting on. If you do $100 a month, but growing up, we were never taught. So I had to teach myself. I had to learn to go to the bank and ask questions. But when it comes to setting up a bank, I just kind of looked at them. I said, you got to be kidding me. I could set up my own bank.
Nice.
And
Very
that's
nice.
that's another topic for the fabulous Cherie. That's another topic.
Nice. We've got a couple more questions. Rochelle says, is it true that in order to become MBE or WBE certified, that our entity needs to have income? And if so, how much?
Okay, you do need to have income, and I know when you first start out, you don't have that much. But I would advisably state that if you don't have income, put it on record. It doesn't matter whether you're for profit or nonprofit. You can say this is the proposed future income. Proposed future income. You know it's coming. You have the 5-year business plan, and this is what you're working with. Okay. So you basically what you're doing is what we would call a projection. You're doing a projection of something down the road. Okay. Because if you look at municipalities, they have projected what or the city of Orlando will look like in the next 20 years. And they know exactly how much it's going to cost. So what you need to do is a projection. You may only have $500 or $1,000, but this is what we're proposing to do, and this is what we're working on. And that help move that money along into your hands. Always get letters of the entities that are supporting your dream. You know why? Because that letter that I got from the city of Orlando became a document of credit at my bank.
Wow. Very good. V. Dimitri had a discount there. I had a question. So when they go to pay, Cherie, if they're already a member, they should be logging into the Knowledge Center, right?
Yes.
And selecting purchase
Yes.
on the mastermind tile within the Knowledge Center.
Yes.
So there's no need there to put in a discount code.
No.
If you're putting in a discount code, that's going to be for membership. If you're already a member, you don't want to pay for membership twice.
Yes.
So let me say that again. If you're already a member, you're going to log in with your existing 10K project credentials, and it's going to take you to the Knowledge Center. And then in the Knowledge Center, you're going to see the tiles, right? Family Bank, grant writing course. On the grant writing course, it's going to say purchase. And then that purchase button is where you're going to select.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to just share my screen really quickly here.
Okay.
I was trying to get back to it. So this is the Knowledge Center here, and this is where you hit purchase. It's the very first one that says masterclass here. You just click purchase here and it opens you right up to Stripe. So,
but you want to log in first with your existing credentials. If you don't have your existing credentials, when you go to the10kproject.com and you go to Knowledge Center, if you don't remember your credentials, there's a place where you can put forgot my credentials, forgot my password, and it'll, email that information to you. And if you have any issues, please email us at info@the10kproject.com and we'll walk you through it to make sure that you're, selecting the right option. We don't want you to try to become a member twice because there's no extra benefit for doing that. So Michael says, would the knowledge gained in the masterclass be applicable to other business opportunities outside of affordable housing? Michael, I assume is what you're referring to. Cherie, you want to answer that and talk about some of the future masterclasses?
Sure. I was trying not to confuse everybody, but since Michael is asking, so we actually are going to have Miss Beverly here for a total of 4 sessions, 4 master classes. We decided that it would be better for us to just focus on affordable housing for this one. So the grants, when we do the research and things like that, are going to be specifically for affordable housing projects. The next one that we're doing in January is going to be for businesses in general, specifically Black businesses. So that's where Ms. Beverly mentioned, especially last time, some of the older grants that are out there, the hidden money that are specifically for Black people that we don't know about, and other types of grants that are out there that we don't know about. That January session is going to be for that, for just businesses in general. Then we have a 3rd one and a 4th one. I can't remember how it's ordered, but one around cannabis and one around farmland. So those are going to be the 4 that we do throughout the year. And then, of course, as you enter the business one and you enter cannabis and farmland, you can participate in the group coaching. So that group coaching will always be a part of those master sessions, masterclass sessions.
I laughed at Jenny's eyeballs. She said, interesting. I see little eyeballs popping out.
Yes, so that's how we have it set up.
Tamichi said, can we do the farmland next, please? We'll consider reordering, but let us get through this first one first.
Yes.
Anonymous asked the question about the mentorship. And is the mentorship part of the free mentorship, which was offered when Ms. Beverly came the first time? So Anonymous, what we decided to do, for those of you who were on with us the first time, Ms. Beverly was extremely generous with not just her knowledge, but with her offering of her time. And sometimes you got to save people from themselves, right? And so Ms. Beverly offered like 20 of us, right? Free mentorship, which is awesome, but it's not practical. And so in the heat of the moment and her desire to serve her community, I don't want her to burn out and overextend herself, right? And so we made the decision to do the group mentor session so that we all still get FaceTime and access to her, but we get it collectively so that she's not spending 20 hours trying to talk to all of us. And so we have that. That's why we made it for a year. And if you go back to Cherie's value slide, that session is really free, right? So when you look at the value of membership is $300, right? Because that's what we pay. That's what we charge for annual membership today. We're giving that to you for $200. The value of the mastermind, way more than $300, but that's the price, right? We're giving it to you for that price. The value of the mentorship is estimated at $200 per hour of Miss Beverly's time. We're giving you that for free. And so we all get to participate in the free group mentorship collectively versus Miss Beverly trying to do what I believe was a beautiful, kind gesture. I just don't think it's practical. I mean, she's got to be out there educating more communities than just us, right? More people than I would love for everybody that she talks to be a member of the 10K project. That's not realistic, right? She just told you her phone is blowing up. So she's going to be out there talking to other communities, teaching other communities. And so this was the best way to do it so that we all get what was offered, but she gets time, because we all understand how important that is to have time back in our life as well. So
Well,
Anonymous, I
you
hope
never
that answered
forget
your
where you
question.
came from. You never forget where you came from. So I am going to be letting them know they need to join 10K, as I move forward. And, this is home. So, you always come home, unless Tawana kicks me to the curb.
She's not gonna kick
Never
you to the
ever.
curb. She's
I'm
not.
ride or die.
She's not.
I'm ride or die always.
Well, I appreciate
So,
that. So, but it did make sense to me, and not to get burned out, and and to be practical about things, because we all need our rest. We have other things in our lives going on, and everybody's, there's a lot of different moving parts, and sometimes we don't like structure and change, and I had to accept that with a grain of salt, by the way. But it was good for me. And, and when you can take, as I've been at this 48 years, but even at my age and how long I've been doing this, ladies and gentlemen, when you can take constructive criticism with a grain of salt and know that it is in your best interest, you are doing your job.
Yeah, I love that. Miss Beverly was out here like Oprah. You get a free mentorship.
You get a free mentorship. We were like, no. No. So I think and I also think the group mentorship is going to be great, because you get to hear other people's questions and you get to learn from others in the group. So now we do have a question I want to piggyback off of in YouTube. Christina is asking, what if I don't want to learn, but I would just like to hire Miss Beverly outright to do the work and the writing? So, Miss Beverly, are you booked?
And do you do that level of work anymore?
Well, I still do that level of work, but what I moved towards is education, because I think with all the changes after COVID and how hard the country was hit, and I saw the paperwork come across my desk firsthand about, first thing they had at the top, housing. That was a big issue back in 2020. No infrastructure. And then I was working with certain entities trying to put infrastructure together, because that's what I do. I do still do some of that kind of work, but I'm primarily on the government contracting side, the consulting side now, international ministry side, where I consult with different countries on stuff, because we have relationships with different countries. And it's nice to get something new, but I also like to educate, because I feel with the changes they made in 2020, if you put two grants side by side from the same agency, they will never be the same, because one word can change them. One word can change those grants. And that's gold right there. That's a gem. But if you know how to write the grant, and if you know how to educate, and you know how to go get it for yourself, when the audits come up, you are prepared, because you know what they're looking for, and this opens that door of opportunity where you're building a relationship directly with that offering agency that is awarding that money to you, and you're building that relationship. I'm not building it. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, when they transfer that money in, they're going to be looking at you. They're not coming to me. I was just an instrument in the middle of this. Once the instrument is moved out of the way, you and that offering agency now have a bona fide relationship. And you need to be informed. You need to be educated. And you need to get behind the desk and learn how the process works. Yes, it can be difficult if you've never done it. I will own that. But once the light comes on and you figure it out, you're going to be like, oh my God. I mean, because when I learned how it worked, I was just like, whoo, I was submitting 25 grants a day. But you can get burned out.
You do.
So I switched gears. I did switch gears to research, because I want you to know, if you research the grant, you know what you're getting yourself into. And you can make the conscious decision. Do I want to do a 270-page grant, or do I want to do a 7-page grant? You make that decision, because there's a big difference. Sometimes the little grants can be difficult. Sometimes the big grants can be easy, and vice versa.
Wow.
And if I don't know something, I can go to Cherie because she's been on that grant writing side.
Mhm.
I have a group of people, 4,300 grant writers at my disposal. I can just say, hey, which one of y'all know about this? I often get the question, do I do medical grants? No, I'm not in the medical field, but I have a team of grant writers that do nothing but do medical grants. And I have a relationship with doctors that do medical grants because they know the language to plug in. So it's all about group economics, relationships, community engagement, family, and money. Understanding your money.
So we have a question in here. Um, Rochelle, I think this is an excellent final question of the day. Do you need to have experience as a writer to become a successful grant writer?
No, no,
What do
no.
you think people need to have?
I think they need to have an open mind, because they'll see a bunch of words, and I've had grant writers say, they see a bunch of words and it freaks them out. But it's having the time to sit there and read the document and determine what are they asking me, because in essence, you are telling your story. You're telling the story. So those questions that they're throwing at you, they're really trying to see if you really understand what goes into that grant and how to put it together. And to me, it's like a test. Do you know what documents to submit with this, and this? Do you understand our audit procedures? Do you understand accountability and transparency? And then once you have a grasp of that knowledge and you know how to submit them, because like I said, I was doing 25 grants a day. It was nothing for me to whiz through them because I was just like, here we go. And, it gets old after a while. And I said, I want to switch gears. So I turned my writing piece over to someone else, and then I took her research piece. And then, it was still like these two collective brains in the room. And we're like, did you see that? And there's a, and we were just like, it's a language we speak because we understand what the government is asking us. But it's also a shared room of great friends, great knowledge, you're getting experience, and you're learning to open your mind to something new. You're opening yourself up to something new. Because I said, if you can learn grant writing, grant research is a piece of cake.
Oh, good. Good look. So,
Wow.
I will make a comment about grant writing. I do think that you need to be somebody who is a problem solver
Yes.
and who can think strategically.
Yes.
And one of the things that I do is I like Ms. Beverly said, I really kind of sit back, read the grant, and ask myself, what are they asking, and what is their greatest fear or risk concern that they have? So, for example, when Ms. Beverly and I were talking last week, she said, HUD's greatest concern is that you're going to take the money and do shoddy work. More so than you taking the money and running off to Barbados with it or Bermuda, whatever non-extradition country. It's you're going to take the money and do shoddy work. You told them in the grant that you were going to put one piece of lumber in, and you went and got some other piece of lumber, and switched it up, etc. So it really is kind of getting in the mindset of who that grant administrator is or who's reading it. And they're looking for every reason to tell you no.
Correct.
At least from the business plan side, that's how I look at it. So Ms. Beverly is saying yes for this too. They're looking for every reason to tell you no. And the biggest thing you could do is within the documentation, the paperwork, the proposal that you're giving them, is to not give them any reasons to say no, so they can say, this is a no-brainer. And this is going to make me look good, because in the government specifically, there's a joke that we have within government contracting that no one has ever been fired from hiring IBM. IBM could be hired to do a government contract. They could fail immensely, and that person will still have their job, that government employee. But if they hire Cherie Inc. and she messes up, that government person is like, oh my goodness, they may be reprimanded, et cetera, et cetera. So you want Cherie Inc. to look like, no, Cherie Inc. really has her stuff together. So I hope that answered your
that's
question.
pretty much it. That's really pretty much it. When I decided to form my own CDC and get into government contracting, I really had not spent much time in it. But when I started getting over into the international scene of things and dealing with different countries, and sitting in the room with the big wigs and all that a few weeks ago, they kind of looked over at me and said, boy, she's got a real grasp of this. You understand it. And I said, well, yeah, I do, because, I sat behind the desk for 48 years and, I have an understanding. But now I'm actually getting up and meeting dignitaries and people from other countries and working with them and understanding how these relationships come together and how they work together. And I remember something that my state, my Florida Senator Rick Scott said to me once when he asked me if he was going to win. I said, yes. And then he said, Miss Beverly, you have contributed so much to our government. People don't even realize what you do behind the scenes, And I think it's that behind the scenes work that I've done and contributed that draws people to me, because then people have a sense of security that, I can work with her, I can trust her, and I know if she doesn't have the answer, I'm not afraid to say, I don't know the answer, but let me go find it for you. And I just think in building those great relationships, and I'm building more relationships overseas now, I think that brings value to anyone, anything that I'm working on, it just brings value. It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, well, we are definitely grateful to have you here in our community. So I've got a 7:30, but Cherie, I think you got to go through the slide again and tell one more time how to sign up, go over the cost. Everybody, I've got to go because I'm supposed to be hosting the 7:30, so I'm late. I love you all. You're in great hands here with Cherie and Miss Beverly. I can't wait. On September 28th, I will have my seat at the table. What you do is your business, but I'm going to be there.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
So we're going to do this really, really fast because your girl is tired. So, all right. So just to recap really quickly, the dates, it's starting Wednesday, Wednesday, September 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a 6-week masterclass. It's going to go through November 2nd. Each session is going to be about 75 minutes with plenty of time for Q&A, and the replays are going to be available within our Knowledge Center. That's where we host all of our content and information. So what you want to do is the 6 sessions. Session 1, creating a grant strategy. Session 2 is going to be how to research grants. Ms. Beverly told you that that's a big part of this process. Session 3, preparing your company to receive grants. There are a lot of things you need to have in place. So we're going to have a checklist for you, and we're going to go through some of the documentation as well. Session 4 is how to apply for grants. Session 5 is building your team. Very important part of getting grants is building a team. And then session 6 is compliance and becoming a serial grantee. In other words, how do you get multiple grants and not just one grant? So in order to become in order to sign up, you are going to need to be a member of the 10K project. It's $300 a year. You click sign up here. You're ultimately going to enter your contact information, and you're going to end up at the 10kproject.com Stripe page here. It's $300, but if you use the code Beverly, it takes $100 off, so you end up with a $200 charge in order to become a member of the 10K project. And then you also, see, Tawana messed me up here. I would have reset it up here. But you will get into, when you join, you'll get into the Knowledge Center. And you will see this thing here that says Masterclass. When you sign up and you're part of the 10K project, you'll see Masterclass here. You click purchase and it will take you here because the class itself is also $300. So in other words, you're grandfathered in if you're already a member of the 10K project. It's $300 for the Masterclass. If you are a new member of the 10K project, it's a total of $500. $200 in order to become a member of the 10K project, and $300 for the masterclass itself. I also have these instructions here that I've been posting into the chat this evening. So we're going to make sure to send these to you as well so that you're able to follow along, whether you are a new member or a current member as well. So Jesse is saying, it seems to me that an entity could/should be created by 10K or members to be full service agency to meet all these demands for help. One step beyond member directory. We have all skills needed to form and operate collectively. So no offers get left on the table. Marcus Garvey accepted pennies and dollars. So we have some other things we're doing, Jesse, behind the scenes that we will be launching and unveiling over the next several weeks. So we thought about that. And then Rochelle is saying, will there be a short questionnaire as Beverly suggested so we know which direction to go when it comes to applying for grants? I don't remember where Miss Beverly talked about a direction. Let me talk to her about it again and re-listen. Maybe I was doing something else, trying to coordinate something when she said that. So that is it for me. Like I'm literally pooped, so I'm gonna say the wrong thing. But thank you, Ms. Beverly, for being here this evening again with us. And everybody, we will be talking about this. I'll be sending out the emails, the instructions, things like that tomorrow morning. So please feel free to pass it along to family and friends. We want to get a great community of people here, 100 people to be a part of this. So if someone does not have experience, if someone wants to learn grant writing, they want to learn grant research, they want to hang their shingle, they want to be a part of affordable housing and helping solve that problem, this is a place that they need to be. Definitely suggest you participate in this masterclass. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Beverly. Take care, everybody.